Generation Z, or often referred as Gen Z, represents the vibrant and diverse individuals born between the late 90s and early 2010s. They have grown up in a world fueled by rapid technological advancements, where information are just one click away and global connections are at their fingertips. And now they are starting to enter the workforce and need to be armed with a unique set of skills, perspective, and aspirations.
Yes, Habibul Hanif, a career and educational content creator on TikTok, shares his journey and applies wisdom to and also guidance for the next generation in his contents. Habibul has caught the attention of the public through his presence on TikTok with a total of 2.5 million likes, particularly among the rising stars of Generation Z as they embark on their own professional activities. These captivating contents are more than just viral videos. They are transformative contents that offer a type of compass to navigate the complexities of the modern job market, especially for Gen Z.
Yes.
Ooh, this is a really interesting topic, actually.
Are you a part of Gen Z?
Actually, I'm not part of Gen Z.
We are not.
We are not.
A little secret, we are not. We're a little bit older than that.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. And in order to understand more about Gen Z, we have with us today Habibul Hanif here in the studio. So you go by Bibul.
You can call me Habibul.
Bibul, okay. Good afternoon, Bibul. First of all, thank you so much for your time.
Welcome to our studio.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, first of all, since we are not part of that generation,
Okay.
we would like to understand more. We'd like to know more about the characteristics of a Gen Z. Could you please elaborate?
Okay. But hi guys. Okay. I'm Habibul. Anyway, talking about Gen Z or Z generation, they are currently tend to be more creative because let's say they are born in technology disruption, right?
Yes.
So the use of technology is really massive in current situation. So this kind of creative and also innovative skills happens in this kind of generation. And also about their curiosity, because they are really want to knowing more about another fields. Like I'm coming from engineering background, but I'm not working as an engineer. I'm working as an HR.
Okay.
So it's psychological side, right? Psychology major. So that's kinds of, it sounds like this kind of generation usually want to knowing more about the other fields. Unless their background is an engineer, they want to knowing more about mathematics, for example, and also art, performance, and so on. I think that's it.
And the technology allows them to do so because everything is at their fingertips, right? You can easily access all of those information, or you can even join courses related to your field of interest, right? Well.
Well, and do Gen Z stand to choose jobs that provide positive social or environmental impacts, and how does this affect their career choice?
Well, Gen Z actually, we can see on social media like Gen Z near with mental issue. They're really concerned about mental issue. Like they want to work with a company that applied psychological safety,
Which is good.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Like they already concerned about their capacity, their limit in terms of mental work and kind of those things. So they can prepare it, they can filter what kind of company that's suitable with their profile, right?
Right.
So which is good. I think that's a very good idea when this kind of generation already understand about their career aspiration.
Well, that could be a good thing.
Yeah.
Concern about the work-life balance whatsoever. However, they are now just entering the workplace, right? And then logically, the boss is from a different generation, right? Now, it could be difficult to understand them because during the time when the bosses were starting, it wasn't like that at all.
It's different time.
The boss at that time expect the new employees to work really, really hard. Not work smart, but work really hard. And they somewhat didn't care about the work-life balance. Now, how do you see this phenomenon right now?
Well, I think that's the reason why the typical of Gen Z really want to work in the startup industry, where they can find their friends like number of their friends are much higher
Right.
compared to the, we can say, conventional company, right?
True.
Conventional company. So they want to work with a startup style
Yeah.
and e-commerce because the Gen Z generation and the styles of work is quite similar with them. So that's the reason why I think in my age and my friends, my generations, they really want to work in startup company styles. And also the government already want to change their styles into like a startup things, right?
Yeah, and when speaking about the startups have one style that they always allow interns to join their company. And why do many Gen Z choose to start their careers with internship? What are the benefits for them?
Okay, interesting question. Well, actually, internship and another development area is quite similar. We can say like student association or club community in university is quite similar. But what makes internship looks fabulous, because when you join internship, you will receive the professional environment,
Right.
professional exposure. You will work closely to the project manager, for example, and also the very important stakeholders like the BOD level, the C level. You will meet this kind of person like you will never meet in other occasion previously. So this kind of opportunity really help the Gen Z to to understand about what the professional worlds look like, and also in some in some company nowadays they have opportunity to make internship to become a permanent employee. So you don't need to waste your time to resubmit your
Yeah.
CV into the company portal, right?
If you do well, then the company will
Yeah.
immediately hire you after
yeah,
the
of
internship is
course.
done. Now, what are the things that Gen Z needs to consider when they're applying for an internship?
Okay. When the Gen Z want to go to choose their first job with an internship style, for example, they want to understand about the company research first, and then the role research, and the third one about the culture, because and the company need to understand how this company works, what the company do, and also about the achievements of the company. So they need to understand those kind of background at the very first stage, because they want to work with so many people over there
Yeah.
with a different background, and also they need to understand about their role, the job description, because it will make them understand about the scope of work, what kind of work that is out of scope or in scope. They need to understand it at the very first level. And also like a salary research, they need to understand about it, because if this kind of person mentioned the salary much higher than the actual cost of the salary that provided by the HR, they are easier to get declined or rejected by the HR.
Could you please give a little tip on how to do research regarding the salary at the
Okay.
level that they're applying?
What the
Because
keywords?
that could be tricky,
Yes,
right?
that's really tricky.
Well, actually, you can find it in several websites in Google. And also, you can ask your senior from the company inside. Well, actually, that's a restricted information, but
Yeah,
some of the senior
exactly.
want to share that kind of restricted information. You know?
Okay, so it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people don't mind sharing
Yeah.
that information.
And when
Okay.
speaking about internship can help Gen Z especially, can help Gen Z to determine their career paths. Maybe it's just me. So personally, I'm start as have a social background. I'm from a social background in university, and then after graduate, I tried to do some coding, and turns out it's really good for me. But turns out when I start my career, I start as a journalist, and here I am now.
Okay. That's so different, right?
Yeah, that's really different. How interns can help them?
Well, basically, an internship, you are not only talking about your daily basis tupoction or the job description, like you do an Excel things, you process the data
Yeah.
with several tools. Not only those kind of details, but also that's where you can understand about another field. For example, you are not only work with your own team, but also like cross division.
Right.
You can understand about, the finance division has their own style. This kind of HR, and also what about the operation division. If they are looking for a communication, they will go to public relation, for example. So in internship, you go to a company, you get the professional exposure, you understand about your role, but also you understand about another role, about another division. That's where you can filter like where I want to go after this position, right?
Right. So the internship job title does not limit you from the future field you want to choose. Wow, that's interesting. Now, you've mentioned the characteristic of Gen Z in the workplace. Now, you obviously have interacted with Gen Y, for example, or Gen X.
Maybe.
Maybe. So how do you find it? Do you find it difficult when interacting with people from different generation? And what are the challenges?
Well, there are several challenges actually because it's like you talk to your mom. Because
Really?
yeah, in my experience,
Okay.
it's like I talk to my mom about the innovation of, for example, I want to choose my career as a journalist, for example. Of course, my mom don't want to agree with my statement, for example, because as in their generation, working as a person in a government institution is considered as a successful man, And then when I want to go to I want to go as a social media specialist, my mom doesn't understand about it,
Yep.
So it's really hard to make a different generation understand about our purpose. So you need to lower your style of communication, for example, and don't use a hard dictionary. You need to put your ego down, and no need to say something like a very high words with your different generations, because it makes them easier to understand about what you want to talk about.
This is getting more and more interesting. I still have a lot of questions regarding that because you know what? I really want to understand more about Gen Z.
We will continue talking about Gen Z.
Okay.
Any tips for those who are getting called by HR user for interview?
Okay. First of all, congratulations if you get called by HR, because the submission process is one of the hard stage, right?
Yes.
You need to understand about the HR interview, the user interview, and study case. These three things is a really main indicator, and they has their own approach. For example, the HR interview, they want to understand about your profile. Are you suitable with the company background or the company culture, like core value of the company or not? From the user interview, it's more like a technical question, like do you understand about several skills in this position? What kind of tools that you used previously in your previous company?
Okay. Before we go any further, could you please give it a little information regarding how to dress during an interview, because that's the first thing that comes up
How about if it's online interview? How we should dress also?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Online or offline.
Online
could you
or
please
offline.
give some insight regarding that?
Well, basically, it really depends on the company that you applied for. Like at government institution, I think like it's more you use white shirt or like a formal attire. Formal attire. If you go to a
What about
consulting
startup
firm,
companies?
I think
about this
informal looks good. Like semi-formal looks good. You don't need to look really formal like what you use in a government interview, for example, because they have their own style, right?
Right. Okay, so that's important. We know what type of company we're applying
yeah.
to. Okay, so you were talking about the user interview. Go on.
And also the user interview, the question is more specific into technical things, like the skills that you previously used in your previous company, for example, and also your achievements in your previous company, also in your college, your your organization background, your leadership background. That's helped you succeed your interview. And also study case. That's one of a big challenge in Gen Z because in study case you will receive a case, an impromptu question, for example. You need to solve it by a short, limited time, And so that's a challenge, things that you need to prepare before you come to interview stage.
Right. Now, before we can even expect to be called for an interview, we first have to create an appealing CV, right? Do you have any tips on that, perhaps?
Of course, of course. I think we can review a CV
Really?
after this.
Okay. We will do that.
We will do that.
And what are we going to do now? We're going to challenge.
It's already here.
Habibul.
Okay.
We already
We
have it.
CV over here.
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps you can stand beside the screen and just...
Okay, I think we have a CV over here, and then we can see what's the things that this CV can improve from this current CV. Okay, if we talk about ATS CV, it's more like black and white CV. You don't need to put your photo over here because it's ATS format. It makes your CV easier to read by the machine learning. So no need to put your CV over there. And then this is a very good things that you can mention about your specialized and also your previous position or what kind of things that you're enthusiastic of. And also this is the very important things. You can write a paragraph about your background. It can include every single information over here into, let's say, 5 to 6 lines.
Like a little summary.
Yeah, like a little summary. But you don't need to put this CV into 2 columns like this. So because the HR usually read the CV with a format. It's like this. So they read the, the name, and then down here, and then read the summary down here. And the HR don't use this kind of CV to make HR easier to read your CV.
So will you automatically pull it out of the pile whenever you
Yeah.
see format like this? Or do you still manage to
Well,
read
basically, it depends on the position. If we are looking for a creative position, for example, I think this CV still accepted to be reviewed by the HR. But if you're looking for example, business analyst, data analyst, I think this is the very formal position, for example. It prefer you to use the ATS format, like what I've said before. Okay, and then this is the location, the information correct, and then you don't need to put your social media. I think this is a place that you will trapped by the HR because the HR can stalk your Instagram.
But what about the position he or she is applying is related to social, like for example, social media manager?
Okay, that's okay, but don't use this ATS format. Use the creative CV format. You know, it's quite different. When you go to creative CV, there are several picture over there and also graphics to show your creative and to help you to, to help
attract
you,
the employer.
Yeah, that's it. And I think social media are not a good things to put on ATS CV.
Got it.
And then, the first things over here is not education, but work experience is more important compared to education. So the first one is work experience, and then the education's over here as number 2. And then the third one, I think you should have organizational background or leadership background. It shows like you are not only experienced in professional things, but also social life.
Yeah.
That's what a company wants to looking for.
What if? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How about certification? If I have several certification, where should I put that?
You can put down over here, like certification, skills, and other supporting information like hard skill, soft skill, certifications, or another trainings that you joined previously. You can write down on the below of the paper.
What if the applicant does not have any leadership experience? Because not everyone is aware about that since the beginning, right? They only realize it when they're about to apply for a job. Do you have any solution for this?
Yeah. People usually think that when we talk about leadership, it's like you lead an organization. It's not only like that. You can't write down your subject in your major previously, you have a very little project in with your lecturer, for example, you can write down in your CV. Not only about a big institution or any organizational things like, BAM in your university or student association. If you don't have any background and organizations like that, that's okay. You can put your mini project with your lecture in your CV.
Good to know.
Okay.
Okay.
How about if I heard that we don't allow to make CV more than 1 page? Is it true?
Because people need to understand the difference both CV and resume. CV can more than 1 page, but resume only 1 page.
So this is a resume.
If this is only 1 page, this is a resume.
Okay.
It includes a very packed information. You cannot, for example, if in my university I have several experience like finance, logistics, and several things, and I applied to finance, I only put finance in my CV. And logistical background, I cannot put it in my resume.
Because it's not related.
It's not related to the position.
Got it. Oh,
and I think also CV, I prefer you to not create your CV more than 2 pages. I think 2 pages is maximum for the HR to read your CV. Because if your CV content 7 pages, the HR have a limited time to read so many CV a day.
What about a GPA? Usually people include their GPA, like for example here. Is that a factor that will be considered by the company, or it's not important?
Of course, if your GPA higher than 3.0, you can put over here. But if your GPA below that, I prefer you to not put on your CV. Okay.
Okay.
How about the font size? Is this can be improved, or this is the perfect one?
If you use the ATS format, I think it's better for you to use this kind of, black and white things. So white paper and black
ink
over there. Don't use this kind of color background. Only use white paper or white background over there. And you can use like Times Roman, Arial, or Calibri font that HR usually did in their career or in their job, right?
Okay.
It makes HR easier to understand, also read the CV.
Okay. Okay, I think it's all clear. It's all good on the resume. Perhaps you can sit down again. We have one last question for you. In the interviews, it's really important, right? The interview part, whether it's with the HR or with the user especially. Is there any specific attitude that we need to deliver during that process?
The first thing is time commitment. You need to be punctual with your time. You need to be more cautious. Don't be late with the interview schedule, because that makes you a professional person. So you need to understand about the schedule of the interview. And the second one about the way you looks, the way your attire you really represent your profile, right?
Yes.
So you need to be more cautious about the way you wear the dress and things like that. And also the eye contact. You need to have a good eye contact with the interviewer, because you talk to a person. You need to appreciate what she said, for example. You see the eyes and then like small gestures. No need to have too much gesture, like a very small gesture to show that you are a professional person. Like you're ready to work into a professional environment.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much for the insights. I think we're ready to apply for a new job.
It looks like we will.
I'm feeling confident after all the lessons. Thank you, people. All right. Once again, thank you so much for being with us in the studio. Good luck on your future endeavors.